Today we're going to talk about outdoor gear misconceptions. When people ask the wrong questions or have the wrong idea about a piece of gear, it gets them in trouble. Okay, roll the intro. The first big misconception: hey, the underside of my Rainfly is sticky or it's falling apart. I want to buy a new one. You can't buy a new Rainfly. With very few exceptions, no companies sell Rainflies. Personally, I think that's a mistake, but that's the way it is. So that means you have to take care of your Rainfly. Store it in it's getting windy. Store it in a temperature-controlled location. Use it, but don't abuse it. Clean it when you're done. Put it away dry. Take care of your Rainfly. It's the only one you get. Another big question that I get is this: will this sleeping bag zip to this sleeping bag? And honestly, most of the time, it will. This isn't the right kind of zipper. Oh, you know what? This one will, mostly, but not quite. Mostly. So here's the deal. Most zippers on sleeping bags are made by a company called YKK. And as long as they're the same type and gauge of zipper, the zippers should zip together. But don't do it. It's a really bad idea. I know you want to snuggle. I like to snuggle too. I have a teddy bear in my truck. Come on. But you lose all thermal efficiency when you zip two sleeping bags together. It's a really bad idea. And if you're using mummy bags, they end up this weird heart shape. So just don't do it. Just don't. Just don't do it. Another big one that I get all the time is, I don't have a footprint for my tent. I can't find the footprint. Will this footprint for another tent work? And the answer is no, it will not work. Only a footprint for your tent will fit your tent. And here's why. It's a footprint, not a ground cloth. So a footprint is mated specifically to one tent. A ground cloth is a generic piece of material that goes underneath your tent. Just for clarity, a ground cloth or a footprint doesn't make your tent any more waterproof. It protects the bottom of your tent from sticks or rocks or whatever. Essentially, it takes the brunt of the wear and tear instead of the bottom of your tent. So just use a ground cloth if you can't find a footprint that matches your tent. You can use a tarp. You can use like plastic painter's tarps. You can use the big blue tarps. You can use Tyvek. A lot of people use Tyvek because it's super durable and it's really lightweight. You can get it in most home centers. You've got tons of options, but there is zero sense in asking, does this footprint fit my tent, even though it's not the same footprint? Again, a huge misconception. Another really big misconception that people have about outdoor gear is this: insert the name of satellite communication device. My message didn't go through. This thing is a piece of junk. Okay, so we'll just gloss over the fact that you're in the outdoors and shouldn't be sending that many messages in the first place. Satellite communication is great for emergencies, and I'm a huge fan of them for that reason. I don't see the need to have that level of communication, but for a lot of people they do. And so they get frustrated when they sent an okay message and that message didn't get through. So here's what I'll say. It's going to space. That $150 or $250 device in your hand made of plastic, powered with tiny batteries, is communicating via space to tell someone that you're okay. Draw back your misconceptions or your expectations about how those things are going to work. It's a very weak signal, going about 18,000 miles one way, and then getting back down to a ground control station where they're forwarding your message. Have reasonable expectations. Things interfere with them, from the weather on the ground, a little bit, to solar flares, a lot of bit, will affect how well those things work. So pull down your expectations as to how effective they are. Things are not always going to go as planned. Here's another one I get frequently. What's the weight capacity of this backpack? That is not a good question to ask about a backpack. In general, backpacks for backpacking don't have a weight capacity. There's all sorts of variables that are hard to get into as to why they don't have weight capacities. We used to say that you should carry between 1/4 and 1/3 of your body weight, and now gear has gotten so light that even that is too high. For a multi-day trip, I plan to be around 22 pounds, or with food and water, and I tend to do real food, 32 pounds is a good place to be for 3 or 4 days. The only packs that I have seen that have a weight capacity are when Osprey released the Lumina and the Levity. They gave us hard weight numbers for when those packs would stop being able to transfer the weight to your hips. The reason being that they're such lightweight packs. So don't worry about a weight capacity for the pack. Think about a weight capacity for you. How much weight do you want to be carrying? The pack will be able to handle it. Okay, so you've got a beloved backpack and you've been using it for a few years and you really dig it, and then the unthinkable happens. A buckle breaks. More precisely, half a buckle breaks. Usually what happens is one of the prongs on the male end of the buckle breaks off, and you say, oh, that's not a big deal. I'll just go to my favorite outdoor store and pick up another buckle. And you walk in and say, hey, I need a buckle for this pack, and they say, I can't help you. But you've got a wall of buckle replacements. Can't you help me? And the problem is that the pack manufacturers, even though the buckles for every pack just about are made by the same company, they're different for each brand. And then even within brands, they're a little bit different. And usually it's that center part that they make different. And it means that even if you've got two 25mm buckles, they won't buckle together because they don't match. And so the first thing that you should do is reach out to the manufacturer and see if they'll just send you a buckle. Usually they will. The second problem that you run into is that the male end of the buckle is designed to come off the strap usually. Frequently, more than frequently, the female end of the buckle is sewn to the pack, and so it can't be removed. So if you are like, well, I'll just buy a whole new set of buckles, you can't thread the female end through because the female end is sewn in. So your best bet is really to go to the manufacturer, have them send you a buckle that'll fit your pack, and you'll be good to go. If you don't have that kind of time, you can buy a whole new buckle system, but it has to be the kind of buckles where they have a screw that seals the buckle onto the loop where the old buckle was. You're going to have to cut the healthy female end off the pack and then replace both ends instead of just replacing half. That's how you deal with it. It's a convoluted system, but the manufacturers will generally replace the buckle for you. Don't ask me why they make every buckle different. I have no idea. Okay, so that is 6 outdoor gear misconceptions. If you like this content, hit like, hit subscribe. If you have more questions about gear or anything like that, post them down below in the comments, and I'll answer them. I got nothing else to do. All right, I'll see you outside.